Hi you guys, today you are going to have a lesson on complementary and supplementary angles. Make sure that during the lesson that you are not talking, that you're not distracting anyone else from being able to get their notes done, and also make sure that you are writing down everything that I write down in the video, that you write that down on your paper, and you will be turning these in to your sub at the end of class, so you want to make sure you get all of your classwork points for today. On the first part of the notes, it says to use a protractor to measure the size of each angle and complete the table below. But since I am not here to give you the protractors, I'm going to go ahead and just tell you what those angle measures are. Okay, so when we talk about angle ABC, that is this angle right here. Okay, that is this straight line. And in geometry, anytime we have a straight line, the measure of that straight line is 180 degrees. Okay, the next angle, ABD, when we name angles, we do it in their order. So ABD would be this angle right here. Okay, so this is the angle measure of that angle. So if you were to grab a protractor and measure that angle, you would find that the measure of ABD is 45 degrees. Okay, then let's go ahead and measure EBF. So let me clear these ones off. EBF, so we want to start at E, and then we want to go to B, and then we want to go to F. So EBF, that's this little angle right here. This is the angle measure right here. Okay, so you can see this is a pretty small angle. The measure of this angle is 30 degrees. Okay, let's go to the next one. So for the next one, we have EBC. So let me go ahead and trace that angle in for you. EBC. So we start at E, EBC. So that is this angle right here. This angle, the measure of that angle, EBC, is 75 degrees. Okay, and then we have two more to do. The next one that we need to do is DBC. So DBC, remember we start at D, DBC. So that's a pretty big angle actually. The measure of that angle, this measure right here, is going to be 135. You can see that's a really big angle compared to the other ones we have measured. And then let's go ahead and look at the last one, which is DBE. So DBE. So I'm going to start at D, I'm going to go to B, and then I'm going to go to E. And that is this measure right here. That is 60 degrees. Okay, now the next question on our notes after we have measured these angle measures says, what is the sum of angle ABD and angle DBC, and how does it compare to the measure of angle ABC? So remember that the ABC, that's this angle right here, that's our straight line, and in geometry a straight line always measures 180. And then we want to know what the sum of angle ABD is with angle DBC. So I'm going to go ahead and trace angle ABD in pink. So that's this angle right here, ABD. So that is this angle right here, okay? And the measure of that angle right here is 45. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just fill in that angle measure here. So that's 45. And then the angle DBC, I'm going to go ahead and trace that in yellow. So DBC, that is this angle right here. Okay, that's this big angle DBC. Let me trace that in one more time. Okay, so the measure of this angle DBC, in order to find that, we are going to say that that is 135 degrees. So when we take the sum of ABD and the sum of DBC, when we add those together, we get 180 degrees. So when the question says, how does that sum compare to the measure of angle ABC? And we would say it's the same. If you add together the two angles, the ABD and the DBC, they equal 180. And in geometry, that has a special name that we are going to be talking about in our notes today, but that name means supplementary. So if the two angles, if their angle measures add together to be 180, we call them supplementary. So let's go ahead and use these angle measures that we just found, and let's go ahead and answer or fill out our table about all of these different angles and their definitions. Okay, so this should be a review from previous grades, but an acute angle is any angle that measures less than 90. Okay, so a 90-degree angle looks like this. It's a right angle. So if you have an angle that is smaller than that 90 degrees, we would call that angle acute. So when you look at your list of angles here, the ones that are acute would be any of the ones that measure less than 90. So let's go ahead and just mark those. This one is an acute angle, this one is an acute angle, this one is an acute angle, and this one is an acute angle. So in your list, those are your 4 acute angles. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about obtuse. So acute angles, I'm going to go ahead and draw one for you. And I think that in the example part of this, I would like you guys to, instead of writing in the angles that were acute, let's go ahead and just draw a picture of what acute means, okay? So acute means that this angle is less than 90. And then let's draw a picture of an obtuse angle. So an obtuse angle is an angle that measures between 90, so it's bigger than 90, but it is less than 180, okay? So in your examples, let's just draw an angle that is obtuse. And then let's go ahead and look at our chart here, and I'm going to go ahead and mark the obtuse ones in green. So this one's obtuse, it's bigger than 90, and this one's obtuse, it's bigger than 90. So just remember that the obtuse angles, those are the ones that are bigger than 90. Okay, let's go to the next part, a right angle. A right angle measures exactly 90. And then let's draw a 90-degree angle here. Usually a 90-degree angle will be marked like this. If it's not marked like this, then you have to be told that it's a right angle. Otherwise, you can never assume that an angle is a right angle without measuring it or being told or seeing this box in the corner. And then a straight angle, let's go ahead and draw in a straight angle. A straight angle measures 180 degrees. So it measures exactly 180 degrees. Okay, let's go to the next part. Complementary angles. Those are a pair of angles that have a sum of 90 degrees. So for your example here, I want you to draw in a right angle. Okay, I want you to mark in the corner that this angle is a right angle. Okay, so the measure of this is 90, and then I want you to cut that right angle. I want you to draw a line where you cut that right angle into 2 different angles. So angle 1 and angle 2, they are going to add together to be 90. That's what complementary means. It means their 2 angle measures have a sum of 90. And then supplementary, let's go ahead and draw a line here. We're going to draw what a supplementary angle looks like. So supplementary is a pair of angles that have a sum of 180. And so if you have a straight line and we take that straight line and we break it into 2 different angles, this obtuse angle 1 and this acute angle number 2, that's what supplementary looks like. And supplementary angles are always going to be an obtuse angle added with an acute angle. Okay, so those are all of your vocabulary words, your new vocabulary for today. And we're going to be spending the rest of the time writing equations to solve for missing angle measures, and then saying what those angle measures are. Now, I need you showing all of your work. You have to write out the equation, you have to show the work for solving the equation, or you don't get any points for this classwork, okay? What is the measure of angle KIJ? So this is KIJ right here, okay? So we want to know this angle measure. Now, in order to find that angle measure, we need to recognize that this angle right here, okay, this angle right here, this pink one, the measure of that is 136, and the measure of the pink one and the measure of the green one, those have to add together to be 180 because we know that these two angles are supplementary. Okay, so their two measures are going to add to be 180. So what I want you to do is, because we don't know this angle KIJ, we're going to fill that in with an x. We're going to assign a variable to it. So then for our equation, we're going to say, we don't know what angle x is, but we know that when we add angle x with 136, that we get 180. Okay, and then we're going to solve this equation. So in order to get the x by itself, we have to figure out what's happening to the x, and we want to get it back to being alone, right? So 136 is being added to the x. If I want that to be back to just being an x, I have to subtract 136. Remember, when you are trying to get rid of a term that's on the same side as the variable, you want to use the idea of opposites, right? So we want to cancel this out and make a 0. And by doing a subtract 136 or a negative 136, when I combine a positive 136 with a negative 136, that's how I get a 0. That's how that cancels out. They're a 0 pair. So now whatever I do on one side, I want to do the exact same thing on the other side. So my equation is x plus 136 is 180, and my the measure of that angle is k is equal to 34 degrees. Okay, that's the angle of the measure of angle KIJ is 34 degrees. So let's go ahead and try another one. What is the measure of angle ABE? So here is A, here is B, and here is E. So this is angle ABE. It's right here. So we need to find this missing angle measure. Because we don't know what it is, let's go ahead and put an X here. Okay, that's the unknown. And then we know that this one right here is marked with a 90 degrees, so we know it's 90. And we know that angle ABD and EBF, okay, this angle right here, EBF, and FBC, those three angles right here, they are going to add up to be 180 because those three angles are supplementary. They add together to be 180. So now let's go ahead and write our equation. We don't know what the x is, but we know x plus 90 degrees plus 38 degrees is going to equal 180 degrees. Now we need to solve this. Now when we're solving this equation, before we go any further, let's simplify this left side. We can actually combine that 90 and that 38. So let's do that. So x plus 90 plus 38 is 128 equal to 180. And then if we are solving the equation for the x, we want the x to be all by itself, right? So we need to do the opposite operation for addition, which is subtraction, right? We want to create a 0 pair right here. So I'm going to subtract 128, and I end up with x being equal to 52 degrees. So the measure of angle ABD is 52 degrees. My equation is x plus 90 plus 38 equals 180. Okay, let's do another one. It says, use the diagram below to mark each statement as true or false. Okay, first statement, ABD, okay, so that's this one right here. We know that it is 25, ABD. And EBF, so EBF, that's this one, EBF. And it says that those two right there are complementary. Well, we know that one of them is 25, right? And one of them is 65, and those two do add up to be 90, so that statement is true. They are complementary. Okay, next statement says angle DBE measures 50. Okay, well, this angle right here is DBE, and it's missing, right? They didn't give us information about this angle. But we do know that angle ABD and DBE and EBF and FBC all add up to be 180 degrees. So if we write an equation that says 25 plus the one we don't know plus 65 plus 40 equals 180, we can figure out our missing angle measure and we can see if this is true. Now on the left side, we have some constants that we can combine. We can combine the 25 with the 65 with the 40, and that is going to give us 130. So x plus 130 equals 180, and then we're going to minus 130 from both sides. So x equals 50, which means that this statement is true. Okay, next one. FBC is an acute angle. So remember that acute means that the angle is less than 90. So if we look at FBC, it's 40, so we would say that statement is true. And then angle ABF and angle EBC are supplementary, and we would say that one is false. Those two angles do not add up to be 180. Okay. So let's keep going. We're almost done with our notes, and then you guys will have some practice assignments that you need to do on your own. Angles A and B are supplementary. The measure of angle A is 42. Find the measure of angle B. So the first thing that we know is supplementary means that the two angles are going to add together to be 180. We also know that the measure of angle A is 42. So 42 plus something we don't know has to equal 180. So if I want to get this variable all by itself, we have to get rid of this addition of 42. So I need to cancel this out. I need to use a zero pair, right? These two make a 0, which leaves me with just an x on the left side of my equation. And then I'm going to minus 42 on the other side. So x is equal to 180 minus 42, which is 138. So measure of angle B is 138. Okay, let's keep going. Measure of angle C is 12. C and D are complementary. So remember, complementary means the two angle measures are going to add together to be 90. We don't know one of them. We know the other one is 12. So this would be our equation. And then to find our missing angle measure, we need to get the x by itself by subtracting 12 from both sides. So x equals 78 degrees. Okay, next one, and this is actually the last one we're going to do, and then I'm going to have you move to working on the list that is on your slides and in Canvas. Angle F and G are complementary. Okay, so the first thing we know is angle F and angle G are complementary, meaning that they are going to add together to be 90. We also know angle F measures 4x plus 5 and angle G measures 15. So we know that we have a 4x plus 5 added to 15 and that those are complementary, meaning they add up to be 90. So before we go any further in solving this equation, we can simplify this side. So let's go ahead and do that. We can combine the 5 and the 15 because those are like terms. So we're going to simplify that left side. And now we have a two-step equation to solve. So remember from last time we were here, when we're solving a two-step equation, we want to isolate this variable by first getting rid of the addition or subtraction. So to cancel out a positive 20, I'm going to do a negative 20. That is what makes a 0, right? That's what cancels it out. And then I'm going to minus 20 from the other side. So I get 4 times x equals 70. Sorry, I kind of ran out of space there. And then my next step is to divide by 4, which gives me x is equal to 17.5. Now, once I know what the x is, I know that measure of angle G was 15, and I know that the measure of angle F, okay, this one right here, is going to be 4 times by, so it's 4 times by x plus 5. So I know it's going to be 4 times by whatever the x is, and then plus 5. So that leaves me with angle F being 75. Okay, so now what I want you to do is I want you to finish the independent practice that is in this notes guide, and then I want you to take it back to your sub and have him correct your independent practice, and then I want you to, he's got the answer key, and then I want you to go to Canvas and do the list of assignments that I have for you on Canvas. I hope you guys have a good day. Your sub is actually one of my friends. He's awesome, so I hope you're being really nice and kind and respectful to him. But also, I'm super happy that you have him because he's an amazing math teacher, and he will be able to help you with whatever you need. Okay, I will see you in a couple of days.